Alright, sorry about the audio on the previous video. I didn't realize my computer had defaulted back to my speakers on my camera as opposed to my headset. But hopefully this sounds a lot better than the previous video. So we're here on the draw for our first match, and this hand, it doesn't look so bad. We obviously want to draw into some blue cards to keep the juice flowing, but this one's okay. I think we're going to be leading off with a blue-white temple as opposed to either of the other two, and oh yeah, especially now we don't really want to crack Flutterstrand for an island since we already have a blue source with temple, and we don't have Dramoka's command yet, and we much rather be able to cast a creature on turn 2 that's a decent size as opposed to playing a Logana on turn 1 and not being able to really play much of anything on 2. Alright, Fleece Mane Lion. So it looks like we're getting our wish to start off here. We're playing against the ever so popular Abzan Hangerback deck in the first match. And I'm just going to kind of hope he doesn't have... Maybe I should just play Seeker. I was thinking about playing Hero and just crossing fingers, but you know, we might take a little bit of beat down here from Lion, and if he has Dramoka's command, I'd much rather him kill the Seeker than my Hero. And if he does have it, I want to let him go that kill Seeker, and then I just get to go Valor Stance Logana. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Warden of the First Tree in this deck. I think it's fine, but I don't love it. Here I think I'm just going to attack. If he levels, we'll just use Valor Stance to give our guy indestructible, I think. Maybe now I want to go ahead and play Flutterstrand, and since I have an extra white source, maybe crack it for a blue. Well, regardless, I'm going to attack. And if he wants to block and pump, then we can make him spend his whole turn and punish him pretty hard. We are going to get an island here, I think. We're going to be able to use the blue for the most part. I think I'm going to hold up the Define Strike, though, just in case he does Dramoka's command us next turn. We can pump our guy so that it still kills his. The reason we cracked before for Ultimate Prize. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think I'm going to go ahead and Define Strike my Hero, though. Maybe not. I think I may block Warden, and then once he pumps, then Define Strike and trade. Take most of his turn to do a trade. I'm okay with that. He may not even offer. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to take it. We can also Define Strike his creature. Oh, no, never mind. That's toughness. I was going to say we could Define Strike and Valor Stance. Doesn't come up much, but... Alright, well, we want to play around Abzan Charm if we can. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if we can at this point. We need a God's Willing pretty badly. So I'm just going to kind of move in a little bit here. He may not fight over it. If he does, that's pretty bad for us. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have forced the issue. Oh, it's a Valor Stance? Okay, good. That's great for us. If it was Abzan Charm, we were in a lot of trouble. Alrighty, well, let's draw a card. Dramoka's command. That'll be pretty good next turn, I think. Alright, let's hope he doesn't have another removal spell. If he does, we still have access to Logana, and then we can Defiant Strike. We can... if we draw a land, we can go Logana, Defiant Strike, Command. We need another... Well, I guess that was one reason not to fetch a blue. Okay. Alright. think we want to keep that on top to make our Jamoka's command a little bit better. He may just not attack next turn, which would be awesome. We can also just we could just go Defiant Strike our Logana now and then play Favorite Hoplite. That would save us a lot of time and effort next turn. Basically just saves us a lot of mana. That way we get to do everything we want next turn. I'm not sure if it's the best play. It's certainly an okay play. I'm going to put the 1/5, actually I'm going to put it in front of the Warden and force him to pump. Because otherwise he could just deal us 1 and then play like Siege Rhino or something. But here now at the very least he has to do some work. What he might do, wow, just let it die? That's odd. I guess he is just playing Siege Rhino. Alright, well we're at 3. So if he blocks with Siege Rhino, we can actually put 2 counters on this and then fight the Fleece Mane, and then just like trade off boards or something. And if he doesn't block, alright. So now we just have to do both guys, or both counters here, and then fight the Siege Rhino. Otherwise, it doesn't really work how we want it to. We got a chump block with Favorite Hoplite, but we're dead to a removal spell or a Rhino. At least we're not dead to Abzan Charm. We're only dead to Downfall, Ultimate Price, Dramoka's Command. But he's been missing land drops. We're also dead to Siege Rhino. So, at the very least, if we get to untap, we get to play Mentor and then fight the Fleece Mane. Depending. Okay, well. If his last card was Ultimate Price or Command, I assume we'd just be dead. But I guess we just want to go Command Fight. Alright, plays a Lion. So he's at 4. We can't kill both guys. But he's got no cards in hand, and he has the chump block. So yeah, we're actually in pretty good shape here. We're going to go put a counter on Mentor and then have Logana fight another guy. Or maybe I don't want to put a counter on Mentor. I guess I do. Or sorry. Alright, put a counter on here, and then this fights that guy. Now we could have played Ordeal and tried to hit God's Willing, but I think that was a much riskier play. That left us dead to more spells off the top from our opponent. But here we're basically just dead to Siege Rhino. Alright, well if he has a removal spell, he has it. We basically just have to play this on this guy and attack, and we're not even dead if he has a removal. We're just not killing him, and he has another chance to find a Siege Rhino. But we are presenting a wider array of threats. We don't really want to put Ordeal on one of the guys that's a big target for a removal spell, but I assume if he had a removal spell he would just main phase it so that I don't get another token with Mentor. And we did draw a backup guy, so even if he has a removal for this and then untaps and has a removal for that, he has to kill both. So it's basically just Rhino or Bust. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so his guy dies, ours doesn't. Fading a Rhino, one more turn. Alright, cool. Got game 1. This might not be the hangerback version. This one looks a lot more like BBD's list than the ones they were playing, since it did have Warden in it. But yeah, alright, let's make this a little bigger so y'all can see it better. For the most part, in this matchup, we just want to go wide with Mentor. You saw how good it was in that game. They have a lot of removal, so Treasure Cruise is good. He may try to go a bit bigger, but I can't be certain, so I don't know if I want to board in Disdainful Stroke just yet. But we also didn't see Hangerback, so I don't want to jump the gun and assume and have these dead cards in my deck. So we definitely just want to go wide with Mentor Cruise, and the question is, what do we want to cut? The short answer is Seeker of the Way, but Seeker actually helps a ton against things like Fleecemane Lion, and there are ways to put a lot of early pressure on us, as well as even Siege Rhino. Being able to invalidate an entire drain from Siege Rhino, or just make it really tough for them to kill us in the early game, I think is great. So I actually kind of like Seeker in this matchup. Now, we can't really afford to stumble early, so maybe something like Battlewise isn't as good. And it's possible we just want to trim on creatures a bit, and Logana is the worst of our bunch, I believe. Alright, yeah, we're just going to go super wide with Treasure Cruise and Mentor and hope that's good enough. We only board in 2 blue cards, and we board out 1 blue card, so we don't really need to bring in the island. And since we're leaving in Dramoka's command, we don't want to like swap it out for the forest or anything. Alright, let's fix this preview. Alright, looks like a pretty good one for game 2. I love having Valor Stance against these Abzan decks. It obviously looks a little weak against the Fleecemane Lion and Warden of the First Tree starts, since it can't kill them until much later, or it can't kill them at all. Thoughtseize? Duress. That's pretty good. So I think I'm just going to play Seeker here as opposed to playing either of my Defiant Strikes. I do want to make sure that I can draw a card off of them, but I also want to put a little more pressure into play. The odds of him having something like Drown in Sorrow against us is pretty low, so I think the best play next turn is just going to be Seeker of the Way. Or possibly Hero of Iroas if we draw that. I think the smart pick here with Duress would be Valor Stance, even if it doesn't actually kill anything in his hand. With discard spells, you like to take away people's options, and even though Defiant Strike cycles, you're not really restricting my options by taking one. We're actually going to crack for white here. We don't want to have a repeat of what we did last game and just mess up our mana. So since we drew the Flood of Shran, we're going to crack that. Now, if he just passes this turn with 3 mana, I may just do nothing, like just attack for 3, because I don't want to give him a target for Abzan Charm just yet. I want to make him use his mana on the turns where I want him to, but he may just go Downfall on the Favorite Hoplite, or an Offenza. That one's okay too. Alright. Well, we're going to pump our stuff here. I'm digging right now for a God's Willing, a Valor Stance. Even an Ordeal of Thassa would be phenomenal right now. Okay. Well, and we're going to offer up the trade of Seeker of the Way for Anafenza, since Anafenza is actually decent against us in general. It's just a big clock. But mostly I just want to offer trades whenever I can when I have something like Treasure Cruise in my hand. Like when I have this big resource building advantage card, Treasure Cruise, you don't really mind it when your opponent uses their spells to kill your spells. especially if you invested much less mana into your spells than them. Or if he just decides to let that happen, that's also fine. So now our Treasure Cruise next turn is going to cost 2, or even 1 if we use Defiant Strike, or 0 if he uses Downfall or something to kill Favorite Hoplite. Fleecemane Lion is okay. I feel like a Dramoka's command is coming on. He's probably going to go put a counter on Anafenza and use it to fight Favorite Hoplite while I'm tapped out. Or his ultimate price. That's also fine. Okay, well we can't mentor in Treasure Cruise this turn, so we may wait on that. I'm going to start by... Well, we can go mentor Defiant Strike. That actually sounds pretty good. And he may block with Anafenza over Lion. I'm not sure which one he's going to use yet. Our hand is so good right now. But it is possible we should have waited one more turn on the Mentor. And we are going to go ahead and Defiant Strike to make a guy. We're going to do it anyway. We want to make sure we get to draw the card. We get to deal him an extra point of damage. So that's nice. And gain... Well, we don't really gain an extra life because we are tapping the Mana Confluence, but... Now, if he doesn't have a removal spell here and we get to play Treasure Cruise next turn for a blue, like if he just plays Siege Rhino and passes, then he is very, very likely dead. He may just have a bunch of Abzan Charms in hand, and in order to play around that, I may just play out 2 creatures as opposed to playing the Treasure Cruise. Because we don't really want him... Like, if he had some sort of sweeper effect, he probably would have cast it last turn, like a Drown in Sorrow, or... Even I don't expect them to have that kind of stuff in that version of the deck. So we're just going to play out 2 more creatures, one of which is going to be Seeker and one of which is going to be Hero. And then our big turn, I guess, will be next turn. Yes, if we play Treasure Cruise, we get to make a token with Mentor, but if he has Abzan Charm, I'd much rather him be forced to use it right now to draw cards, or just keep holding up mana and not being able to do anything. He's at such a low life total that him drawing 2 cards would be insanely good for us. But looks like he had Price and Abzan Charm. If he didn't have Abzan Charm, there's no reason for him to wait there on the ultimate price, because letting me untap and potentially protecting my guy with a Valor Stance or a God's Willing is incredibly bad for him. Alright. Oop, wrong button. Alright, we're just going to go for our big turn now since we drew a way to clear one of his creatures, and now it's very likely that his Abzan Charm is going to kill a Seeker, but our Valor Stance is going to kill Anafenza, and we're going to be drawing 3 cards in the meanwhile. So let's see what we get. Or he just has not much of anything. I guess that's okay. Maybe we just want to wait then? Maybe we just want to wait. I guess there's no harm in going Stance on this. Maybe his hand is just all Anafenzas. So we get to kill that, and then we get to attack with 3 different guys that have 3 power or more. We probably shouldn't have played the Hero, and then I guess we probably could have threatened to attack with the Hero as well. Not really sure what's going on here. I guess he's just waiting to get max trap value out of Abzan Charm. But let's see, if I attack with everybody and he has a removal spell, we're definitely attacking with these 3. So if I attack with the Hero as well, he can let's see, kill this, take 3. Yeah, he's just dead, I think. Unless he has something really weird. Yeah, being able to make 5 power with the Hero and the Monk is good. Really, really good for us. So even if he goes block and removal spell, yeah. Alright, well, that was the first round with Bant Heroic against the Abzan deck. It looked like he just didn't draw Hangerback Walkers. He could be playing a different version of the deck, but All in all, I think that was a pretty good showing for Heroic. We did draw a few too many treasure cruises, but I mean, obviously the first one was great, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, we'll be back for the second match in just a minute.